So I received a question from an anonymous individual who was asking maybe more specifically about what I was talking about when I listed self-care and recovery magic as one of the things that you're welcome to ask questions about. It's sort of hard because that's like a huge topic. The first time I really thought about the idea of magic and self-care or recovery was when I was going to get certified for a form of acupressure called Siva or Seva, depending on how you want to say it. I've heard both. And this is a form of acupressure and energy healing that was developed after 9/11 to help those victims recover from their emotional and physical and spiritual traumas. And it really got me thinking, what an interesting concept that we're sort of seeing a crossover between things that are happening in our world that are very sad and very tragic, and the way that practitioners of alternative medicines and pagans and witches are sort of adapting to those people's needs, whether those people are like-minded or not. And what I found more interesting than that was that when I went to go get certified for that, and then also when I went to go get my first Reiki attunement, I was blown away by the fact that there are two different protocols for both of those practices, I guess you could say. And one of them is to do those Reiki and Seva or Siva on another person, and the other is to do it on yourself. And so most of the places that you touch or press on or move or stretch are the same as you would on someone else, but it is modified so that you can do it for yourself. And I was like, wow, that's like a really interesting concept, that energy healing on yourself is a thing that you can do, and it's not just like we're floundering. There's actual protocols that have been written and put into place. Now, I will say that being of a scientific mind, regardless of the fact that I am certified or I've been through those classes, I am very skeptical of energy healing and energy work and anything that you have to pay for in order to learn how to do, particularly Reiki, which there are many people of the mind that it is physically impossible for you to perform Reiki without an attunement and without a Reiki master attuning you to be able to open those channels within yourself so that you can move energy through you and then into other people. So there's certainly a certain amount of healthy skepticism when it comes to these practices, but I know that they have been successful for me in the sense that they ground me and that they calm me. If you are interested in either of those, certainly inbox me and I can help you find some more resources. I have 2 large binders myself that have my entire protocols in them, and I would be willing to scan those, but I might need to find my scanner somewhere. So other things that have sort of cropped up within the last several weeks since I found out, or at least have been finally putting a name to a lot of the issues that I've been having, is that pretty much anything done with the intention of sort of manifesting healing in your own personal life can be a form of magical self-care or magical recovery. And it doesn't matter if you are recovering from a car accident or from an eating disorder or from an addiction, because in a lot of ways the pain that you feel and the steps that you have to go through are very similar. And I've actually been drawing off the resources from AA and from clinics that treat patients who have anorexia and bulimia, and using those source materials in my own recovery. So something as simple as the way that we dress ourselves, the routine that we do in the morning, things like yoga and gentle stretching or exercise if you're able to do those things, or finding a sort of emergency plan for when you are about to relapse, especially if you have an eating disorder or if you are suffering from something like PTSD or you have panic attacks. Finding a way to deal with those things within our spirituality, I think, is very important. So for me, when I am very close to binging or I'm very close to having a PTSD episode, which specifically happens to me when other people are driving me, because I was in a very, very bad car accident a couple of years ago, and my boyfriend was killed in that car accident, and unfortunately I woke up in the car and sort of saw the aftermath of that whole thing. So I do get very anxious about traveling and social situations because of that. So when I am about to sort of go over the edge, I have sort of a list of things that I check in with myself. You know, I say, just stop everything, stop looking, listening, feeling, just go inward. A lot of times I will come to my craft room, which is the room that I'm in right now, and I may do a little bit of meditation. I may do a little bit of crafting or trinketing or whatever, just something to get my hands moving and get my mind moving. And these are all things that are actually recommended by doctors and have been recommended to me by my doctor. And so I feel like reaching out to your spirituality, even if you're not in a good place, it doesn't make you less of a witch or less of a pagan or less of a heathen or whatever you are. That our spirituality is there for us the same way a Christian spirituality is there for them, and we don't have to come before our forms of divinity, whatever that is, as a perfect human being in order to be accepted and loved. And I think that that's quite the opposite. So recovery and self-care magic is a huge topic, and if you want to know more about it or anything I've said specifically, please inbox me, because I don't want to just drone on for hours and hours about it. I certainly have a lot more that I can talk about it, and it really depends on your level of comfort. Anon or others, whomever, you can certainly submit to me anonymously. I don't care at all. I really have no problem with that, but just let me know if you wanted to hear more about this topic, because it's something that I think is very valuable, and I hope that other people do too.